A very warm welcome to everyone present here today. Thank you for joining the pilot session of the webinar series by Zoho Forms for the year 2024. We are very excited to have you here, and we have many more sessions planned for this year where we explore more topics and that we hope are both interesting and useful to you. We would also appreciate suggestions or requests on features that you would like us to take up. Before we begin, let's wait a few minutes for the others to join in. All right, I can see that our attendee count is increasing, so we'll go forward with the session now. Before we begin, we will have a quick showtime overview. On your left-hand corner, you will notice these tabs available. The questions tab, where you can ask the questions here, and our support personnel is ready to help you. We also have polls that we will be putting across throughout the seminar, and we hope that you will participate in this. This will give us an insight as to what you would want in the future as well. You can participate in chat here. My colleague will be monitoring the chats as well. And finally, in the handouts tab, you can download the resources available here. We have help documents available and also an overview of Zoho Forms. So my name is Arshia and I will be your host and trainer for today. And on Q&A, we have Gokul and Dilip, our product support. Our topic for today is forms that convert for sure. And I hope that you have signed into your Zoho account if you wish to mirror our actions. We will be going through a lot of hands-on and demo session throughout this session today. So if you would like to mirror my actions, please sign into your Zoho account. If you may need admin privilege to access certain features within Zoho Forms. And finally, please do not experiment with your existing settings. Create a test instance to try out new things. I hope all is set. If you have any questions, please post them in the questions tab. Our support is ready to answer anything that you may ask. And before we begin, I'm going to post one poll now. That is, are you new to Zoho Forms? Would you consider yourself a new intermediate level or an experienced level Zoho Forms user? So if you are new here, we have a lot of fun topics to be covered. And if you are an experienced user, this webinar could serve as a great refresher for you. So as I mentioned earlier, we're starting off this year with a very simple but essential topic, forms that convert for sure. And we are going to explore how you can create and manage forms for a higher possibility of conversion. Our agenda for today is we'll be going through an introduction, and then we'll be discussing how you can create smart forms and important customizations that you can do within Zoho Forms, and finally a few additional tips and tricks. We're also going to be having a hands-on session followed by a quick recap. So this is our outline and overview for today. We'll be learning how you can create smart forms, where we'll be discussing interactive card forms, which is the new module of forms in Zoho Forms. We'll also be going over how you can avoid overwhelming your respondents with long forms using multi-page forms and skip logic and rules. We'll be going over important customizations like concise labeling and instructions, branding, and of course, the CTA button. Finally, we'll be going over how you can strategically place your forms in websites and in your web pages, and you can also keep your forms simple. So let's begin with creating smart forms. And I'm going to start off with speaking about card forms today. So card forms help users focus on one question at a time, reducing cognitive overload and increasing response accuracy. This design makes filling out forms easier and more intuitive for your customers. When your forms are broken into small and manageable sections, users are less likely to make errors and abandon the form altogether. Card forms do not sacrifice on functionality or ease of use. Our forms are fully customizable, so you can include as many fields as you need. Excuse me. So you can include as many fields as necessary for your business needs. With our drag and drop form builder, and exciting form customization options like transition effects, you can create and customize your card form easily, and it can be made to match your branding and style. Card forms are very responsive and by nature and adapt well to different screen sizes, making them inherently mobile friendly. They can be accessed seamlessly across devices, including desktops, tablets, and smartphones. Finally, card forms can boost conversion rates significantly for your businesses. By streamlining the form filling process, you increase the likelihood that users will complete the form and submit their information. We're going to move on to a quick demo session where we discuss how you can build a simple card form. So to do this, I am going to log into my Zoho Forms account. And to create a new card form, I'm going to click on the New Form tab here. So this is what's going to open up. You can see we have the options to create a form from scratch. We can use templates and also create a CRM form, which is the new feature that we've added here today. To create a forms from scratch, we have two types, that is the standard form and the card form type. Today we're going to click on card form and we're going to add our form title. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to create a simple contact us form. Once I click on create, your builder opens up. As you can see, it's quite similar to what the builder looks like when you are trying to create a standard form. To create the card form, you simply need to drag and drop your fields, but instead of as a card form, it won't drop into a single page, but as multiple pages. I'll show you in just a sec here. So I'm going to drag and drop the name field, which is one separate page or card. And I'm going to add an email address, another separate page or card. And finally, I'm going to put in a phone number field. So I've just created a basic contact us form. So if you want to preview your card form here, you can click on this. And this is how your card form is going to look. And this is what it'll look like in your mobile as well. So we'll continue on to building our card form. This here is the form title, which is visible only to you. And we can create a welcome page. The welcome page is very important. So when you click on the welcome page, your welcome page settings opens up. And this is what your customer sees first when they open up your card form. So we've got two things here available to us. We have the option to drag and drop an image or a logo, and we can add our content here. So we can add in the form title. You can customize that as you wish. And for now, I'm going to add in a placeholder logo for this image here. There you go. You can choose to add in your image above or below the content that you've put in. You can also customize this button here, the start button, to anything else that you would like. And finally, when you're happy with your welcome page, you can click on save. Once again, you can preview your form here. And this is what my card form looks like now. You can choose to add any themes available. We have a long list of pre-designed templates available for you to add from. I'm just going to add the vacation theme. And this is what it'll look like. And that's what it looks like in your mobiles as well. So with this, we've created a simple card form. And I will give you a minute to try out creating a card form yourself. So to create a card form, I will repeat the steps once again. You need to go into the New Forms tab. You can either create a form from scratch or select from the pre-designed form templates available. Under Create from Scratch, select the form type to be card and enter the appropriate name for your form title and click Create. When you're done with that, form building is as simple as dragging and dropping the fields that you require. Each field will appear as on a separate page. To create the welcome page, you need to go and click on the on the add welcome page on top, and you will be taken to the welcome page settings. You can drag and drop an image or a logo. You can also choose to add content, that is your form title, and also show the image above or below the content. You can also edit the text and apply basic text formatting. And you can also edit the Start button to suit your form. And with this, we're done creating a simple card form. I hope this hands-on was beneficial to you. If you get stuck anywhere while trying out card forms yourself, please be aware we have a wealth of information available in our help documents, and we also have a great support team available to help you at any time. So now we'll reiterate quickly the benefits of using a card form. We have improved user experience because the card forms with the one field per page model is a very interactive experience, and they also prevent your respondents from getting overwhelmed by a bunch of fields in one page. Card forms provide enhanced mobile optimization because they're very adaptable to different screen types. You can also ensure that you have increased completion rates because users are most likely to complete a form when it's broken down into small sections. And finally, due to the one field per page type, we have enhanced data accuracy as well, because you can guide your respondents through each input field. So with this, we've gone over our card forms and how to build them. We've also reiterated over the benefits of using a card form. And now I have a quick, fun little experience for you. I'm going to share a QR code of a card form, and I hope that you can scan this with your phone and try out using a card form for yourself. This is a quick, fun little form, and I hope that you will try it out. I'll wait a minute for you to try this. So while you're filling out your form, I have another poll that I would like to run, which is, have you ever been frustrated while filling out a form? And if your answer is yes, please let us know, what factors do you believe contribute to these feelings of frustration? Thank you for your answers. We'll have a look at them shortly. And next, we will move on to how you can break down long forms into biteable chunks. And I hope that filling out that quick card form was fun and was a fun and seamless experience for you. So, under this topic, we're going to be covering page sections, multi page forms, and skip logic and conditional rules. First, we'll start off with multi-page forms. You can divide your form into multiple pages by inserting a page break where you want to create a split. Duplicate a page with all the questions and reuse them again in the same form with a quick shortcut, saving time and effort. So with multi-page forms, you can navigate quite easily. You can help respondents zip through your form with page navigation buttons and a status bar to view their progress. Seamless navigation and page numbers let respondents quickly refer to previous pages or jump ahead to scout later pages without getting confused. Multi-page forms also help you reduce visual clutter by sectioning out fields to different pages and adding a minimum number of field and questions per page. This ensures that your respondent isn't overwhelmed by an overly lengthy and complicated form. You can tailor your page's navigation bar appearance to your liking and add clear page titles and numbers for your respondents to follow. Change the navigation button's label, color, and shape to fit your theme while guiding respondents towards the finish line. So that was how you can create multi-page forms. And it is similarly, you can also section out your page using a simple section field. I will give you a hands-on session of that coming forward. So before we go into our hands-on, let's quickly discuss skip logic and conditional rules. So another way that you can avoid respondents from leaving your forms halfway through is with the help of skip logic and conditional rules, because with this they can skip past irrelevant information and they can go straight to the questions that are required of them to answer. So what are conditional rules? Rules are a set of simple if and then conditions using which you can get your forms to trigger different actions. If your respondents' answer match up the set conditions, these actions will be triggered. You can choose to show or hide fields in a form based on your respondents' answers, which they have typed into previous fields. For example, a quick example of this would be if you have a menu form or an online menu and you have vegetarian and non-vegetarian pages in this form. If your respondent selects the vegetarian option, they are only shown the vegetarian menu and the non-vegetarian menu is not available to them. With this, we can hide whatever is irrelevant to our respondents. Similarly, you can send out emails, assign tasks, display a custom message, or redirect to a form or a website based on the rules that you have set. So there are different types of rules. We have field rules, page rules, and form rules. Today we're going to be discussing field rules and page rules, and we'll start off with field rules today. So you can show your respondents what you need from them and make form filling a quick and customized experience using field rules. Display only relevant questions to your respondents based on the answer they've provided in preceding fields, when automatically hiding fields that may be irrelevant to them. So when you set up field rules, you eliminate the chances of your respondents tiring halfway through your form and abandoning the forms because they're filling information that isn't relevant to them. Similarly, we have page rules. So when dealing with multi-page forms, you can set up page rules so respondents can avoid the pages that don't concern them. Configure page rules to skip forward to a particular page in your form based on conditions met in the respondent's answer or choices in the previous page. This is very similar to field rules. And finally, the best part about setting up or configuring your rules is that it is a no-code process. You can define conditions with a few simple clicks and without writing any code or creating flowcharts. You can configure multiple combinations of these rules that the forms automatically execute, providing a personalized form filling experience for every one of your respondents. So now that we've had a quick overview of what field rules and form and page rules are, as well as how you can create multi-page forms, we'll move on to a quick hands-on session as well to show you all this in real time. So to have a look at what multi-page forms looks like, I've created a form here, which is a simple, just a show ticket booking form. And to create multiple pages in this, I just need to add the page break. So first, let me show you how I can create sections within the form. So we've got all this information here, and in the bottom we have the name, phone, and email section, email fields. And I would like to create a section for this separately as and label it as personal information. So to do that, I'm just going to drag and drop the section field here and quickly just put in the title, personal information. And that's it. You've created your new section, and you can already see how there is a lot more visual clarity added with the addition of a new section. Similarly, if you would like to create a page break for this section and move this completely to a new page, I'm just going to add a page break field here, and that's going to make my form into a multi-page form. And if you would like to preview this form, this is what my multi-page form is going to look like. I'm going to have a page 1 and a page 2 with the navigation bar on top. You can customize how this looks. You can also customize the way your page numbers are seen. This is what it'll look like in your mobile phone. So with this, we've gone over quickly how to create a multi-page form. I'll give you a minute to try this out yourself. To create a section, you simply need to add in a section field and type in your section title. And once again, I'll repeat, to create a multi-page form, you just need to choose the page break field. And you can customize your multi-page form as you wish. So moving on, we'll go on to field rules. So I have another form here, which is a room reservation form that I've created. We've got all the fields added in, the reservation details, and the additional services and checkout. So I want to create field rules around this one field here, where I've written, are you interested in additional services like a personal chauffeur and breakfast and bread options? So breakfast, excuse me. So I want to create I'm sorry, I was a little confused there. I'm not creating a field rule here. I'm going to be creating a field rule right here now. So my field rule is going to ask if there is a chauffeur required. So one of the fields is asking if there is a chauffeur required. And we also have the field, do you require an airport pickup? So I want to configure a field which states that if someone says yes for a chauffeur, then they get the option of an airport pickup. If they say no, that this field is just not available to them. So to do this, I'm going to configure rules within the rules tab here. When you click on the rules tab, you get this page that's opened up. You have all the options here. We're going to select field rules and click on configure now. You also have the option to switch to advanced field rules. We're not going to go into that in this webinar, but if you are interested in a deeper look into the advanced field rules, we're happy to do so. Please let us know in our feedback. So I'm just going to name the rule as rule 1, and we're going to define our conditions. So as I mentioned earlier, my rule is going to be that if a chauffeur is required and this field is marked as a yes, then I'm going to perform the following action, that is show this field. Do you require airport pickup? And I'm going to click done and add. So if you want to try out what this looks like, we're just going to access our field. We're going to access our form. And as you can see in page number 2, the option of whether you need an airport pickup is not even there. But if I click on yes, it shows up. And when I click on no, it disappears once again. So this is simple, and this is how you can create a field rule. I'll give you an option to have a look at field rules yourself. So to create a simple field rule, you need to go into the rules tab, click on field rules and configure now. You need to define your if and then conditions and click add. If you want to test out your rules, just click on the access form button and you can try it yourself. So next we'll try out page rules, which is very, very similar to field rules. And that was why I got confused earlier as well. So I want to try out page rules in the same form here, which is the rule reservation form. And so this time I want to hide this page, which is the additional services page. And I've provided an option here where I've asked if my respondents are interested in additional services because they incur additional charges. So my rule is going to be that if someone states yes, then the additional services page shows up for them. And if they click on no, then they are directly led towards the checkout page. So once again, we're going to go into the rules tab. This time we're going to click on page rules and configure now. So we're going to configure our rule for the reservation details page, which is the first page. Click on add a rule. You can name your rule here and select the field that you want to configure this for. So this is the field that I'm selecting. Are you interested in additional services? And if it is marked as yes, I want this to skip to additional services. All right. And apart from that, if none of the rules are satisfied, I would like the multi-page form to skip to the checkout page. So with this, I have configured my page rule. You can also switch to advanced rules and you see you have a lot more going on, which once again, we'll be explaining this in another session in the future. So when you're happy with the rule that you've created, you click on add and let's try out our form. And fingers crossed it works. So I'm just going to go over this form once and see here. Even without clicking on anything, I'm led straight to the checkout page. If I click on no, once again, I'm led to the checkout page. But if I click on yes, I am led to the additional services page where we have another field rule, which is, do you require an airport pickup configured? So this is quite a basic overlook at both your field and page rules. So I'll give you a minute to try out page rules for yourself. So to create a page rule, I'll repeat the steps. You need to click on the Rules tab, and under Page Rules, click the Configure Now button. Select the page for which you want to configure the rules and click on Add Rule button. You can add your conditions. And once you're happy with the rule that you've created, click on Add. And you can try out your form by clicking on Access Form. So while we wait for the others who are trying out page rules or just going through the forms yourself, we'll post another question, which is what, according to you, contributes to ensuring your customers enjoy a seamless and efficient form filling experience? We deeply appreciate any answers that you provide us because this will help us moving forward with improving our experience for you. All right, so we'll move on to the next part of our session, which is important customizations, under which we have concise labeling and instructions and thoughtful branding. So first, we're going to talk about why labels matter. Concise labeling and instructions ensure that your respondents read through the entire message, and it provides clarity and avoids misunderstanding. Respondents often abandon forms that they deem are confusing with instructions that may be too long, unclear, or misleading. So well thought out labeling and instructions also helps in speeding up the form filling process. And as I mentioned earlier, It helps in avoiding abandonment of your form. So here's a quick, very overly simplified mock-up of different field labels. So we have once again, this is a very quick, very simplified a mock-up here. We have a job application form, and on the left, you see that you have the upload photo option written there. And on the right, it is much more specific with upload passport size photo. So the right-hand side field label ensures that there is no confusion at all, and you are ensuring that your respondents send in the right photo that you would require. Similarly, we have a simplified mockup of an instructions comparison. So this is a venue where you're booking a time slot for a venue, and on the on the left-hand side, we have the instructions. Please ensure that your event winds up by 9, but it is not specified whether it is AM or PM. So this can also lead to a lot of confusion. On the right-hand side, we have been given very specific instructions where it states, please ensure your event winds up by 9 p.m. So those were very simple examples that I can provide you on how important clear and concise labeling and instructions are. So finally, we have branding. So branding is the very first visual trigger in a form, and it is what respondents often notice first. So well thought out branding in a form is a reflection of a business's website and your overall vibe. It can be done to design elements like color schemes, fonts, tones of language, whether you use formal or semi-formal language in your organization, and logos. And a very important thing with branding is to be consistent throughout with your forms, your websites, and anything else. Good branding provides respondents with a sense of security, for example, with the use of the custom domain option. When you use a custom domain, your respondents know that it is you. And finally, tastefully presented forms increase submission rate and reduce the chances of form abandonment. So while we are making sure that our forms are functional, it's also equally important that we try our best to make our forms visually appealing as well, with branding, consistent branding, and the use of colors and tone of language. Here we have another simplified mockup of an example of a form with branding and without branding. As you can see, even through the mockup, it makes quite a big difference. Next, we have the CTA button. The CTA button is another powerful visual trigger, and by including powerful and relevant text prompts within your CTA button, apart from the word submit, which is the default word written in your forms, you do prompt your respondents to sign up or register or get your free trial, whatever it is that is relevant. Yeah, since your submit button is quite a powerful visual trigger, you can also choose to use bright colors, which urges the respondents to submit their forms and stops them from abandoning their forms halfway through. So finally, we have a few additional tips that are very subtle choices that probably make a big difference. And one of them is how you can be smart and strategic with your form embedding choices. You can use embed options like the light box pop-up style that is catchy and more pleasing to the eye. The lightbox style of embedding your forms in a website reduces visual clutter. Once again, visual clutter is a big no-no, and makes respondents focus only on your form while pushing everything else to the background during the duration of the form filling process. You can also strategically place your form in your website, and you can embed your forms closer to the top of your site so respondents don't have to scroll a lot to find it. And this can be applied wherever you feel it is necessary. So we have a quick video where I can show you how a lightbox pop-up style of form embedding shows up in a website. As you can see, the rest of the information is pushed to the background in a dark, in a dark layer, and just your form is in highlighted. And finally, we all know this, it is best to keep everything simple and sweet. I'm sure you're well aware and you are all very experienced in doing this. And with this, we've reached the end of our webinar. I hope that this webinar was useful for you, and for those who are experienced with Zoho Forms, I hope that this was a good refresher of things that you may have forgotten in the process of creating forms. And if you are new here, I hope that this was a very informative webinar. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Our support is here, Gokul and Dilip. They are both here to answer your questions at any time. So we'll move on to a quick recap of our webinar. We started off this webinar by speaking about how you can create smart forms with interactive card forms, multi-page forms, and skip logic and conditional rules. Then we moved on to important customization, and we showed the comparisons as well for this. We spoke about additional tips like form embedding options and the CTA button and how you can keep things simple and sweet. And finally, we did a few hands-on and demo sessions with activities here. Lastly, we had a Q&A where you felt free to ask any questions, and our support is here to answer. And with this, we are done with our webinar. If you would like to reach out to us, support@zohoforms.com is the address that you need to reach out to. We would love to have any testimonials from your end, so you can write to us at feedback@zohoforms.com. And finally, with the end of this webinar, we urge you to give us a feedback and fill in the survey as well. Thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this session and it was great, and I hope to see you again in our upcoming sessions. Thank you.